Falling Stars, Episode 3. Two boys stepped through the door, tall and broad shouldered. They stumbled into one another the moment they noticed Astra, who was still indulging in the food, most of it now missing her mouth entirely. The one with chocolate-colored skin was the first to step towards the girl, silently asking the old man with his eyes what was going on. "Sit down. It's a curious story," their father told them. The two boys sat down near the fireplace that warmed their home. They could not take their eyes off the girl for several reasons. The first was that she resembled a small wild creature, biting into every piece of food as if she feared it might disappear in the next few seconds. The second was that the two of them were not used to a female presence in their house. The boys had not grown up with their mother. She had died shortly after giving birth to Bodhi. Moha had only been 4 years old at the time, so even his memories of her were not as filled with his mother as he would have wished. And as for the third boy present in the room, well, Jahaka did not remember the touch of a mother at all. The third reason Astra drew such strange interest from the two boys was the unusual features she carried. Gray hair that reached slightly below her thighs, and eyes a shade darker than her hair, a color they were seeing for the first time. On top of that, she was dressed in a fur-lined sweater and a pair of thick threaded pants, Moha's clothes. After they had finished listening, the two boys now had a clearer image of who was standing before them. Not clear enough, but enough to understand what they were facing. Because everyone present in that house understood that Astra needed help, even if they still did not know what that help would involve. For the first time since he could remember his own existence, Jahaka no longer felt alone. Bodhi, Moha, and the boy's father had come to mean family to him. He loved them deeply and carried great gratitude for them, for the way they had come to treat him as one of their own, despite the conditions under which they had met. But deep inside, he had always known he was different. He had carried the question, "Who am I?" with him for so long that there were moments when he got lost inside it and forgot to live in the present. Now, knowing that Astra shared his story in some way, something within him had awakened. A warm feeling. Hope, he believed. Moha, on the other hand, had grown even more tense. Like his father, worry had taken hold of him even more strongly. When they had found Jahaka, he and Bodhi had tried to find answers to the many questions they carried. How had he ended up in the forest? Why had he been completely naked? Where had his memories gone? And why, even though his appearance was that of an ordinary human, did they all know that Jahaka was different? Built differently, perhaps? He was full of an innocence difficult to find in a person who had already reached his age. He was curious about many things that seemed normal to everyone else, and he experienced every emotion at a much greater intensity than they could. And besides all that, Jahaka had a special gift, one he liked to use whenever he had the chance. He could understand animals so well that the creatures followed him whenever they encountered him, without fear. Because of this, the boys had to make sure their garden was always well guarded, so they would not be left without the harvest that brought them the money they needed to live. As dear as Jahaka was to the little animals, they too needed food in order to survive. Although the situation of the two were similar, Moha could not get past the fact that now, standing before them, was a girl, much thinner, more vulnerable, and easier to hurt. He kept wondering whether someone had tried to harm her and whether that someone was still nearby searching for her. His fist clenched at the thought, anger rising inside him toward anyone who would ever even think of hurting a being far more fragile and helpless than they were. After Asra finished eating, Bodhi helped her wash the dishes and Jahaka prepared her new sleeping place for that night. A soft bedding laid over the small couch that already took up half the space of their living room. He added one of the two pillows he slept with, along with a newly woven blanket he had received as a gift from one of the women in town whom Jahaka helped with yard work. The old man withdrew to his room, the one he had shared with Jahaka for 6 years, while Bodhi shared a room with Moha. Asra was now left alone. She had already slipped beneath the blanket left on the couch and allowed her tense body to relax for the first time that day. Although her mind had not yet made the acquaintance of fear, her frail body had been put through quite a great physical effort, and now she felt it disturbingly well. Across from her, on the other side of the room, stood the fireplace, warming her fully now. And for the first time, she felt the warmth inside her grow even stronger, almost reminding her that she had found what she had wanted most, to be home. Early the next morning, rays of sunlight managed to slip through the room's window, waking Asra far more gently than the morning of the previous day had done. There was no sound in the living room, but on the small wooden table in the corner of the room sat a wooden platter filled with fruits, nuts, and cheese. They had been carefully cleaned and arranged on the platter, inviting Astra to taste them. Her eyes wandered through the room, studying every little corner. Now daylight was a much better illuminator, and the details that had been lost during the night she had arrived in the house now revealed themselves. The fireplace, which had gone out some time ago after warming the room through the evening, the small couch prepared for her, the table above which she was now enjoying what had been left for her, and the stairs that led towards the other two rooms. The house was not filled with material things. The boy's financial situation was a modest one. Instead, it was filled with something Astra could feel down to her bones from the very first moment she had arrived there. Comfort. It was so comfortable to be in that place, and not because of the way the house was furnished, but because of the people who lived inside it. Each of them carried an infectious affection for the others, and the caution and harshness with which Moha and his father had been taught to look at things was nothing more than a wall built around them like a fortress meant to keep them all safe. For them, family proved itself through actions, not often through words. but their gestures spoke more than any words ever could. While Astra delighted in the flavors meeting her taste bud for the first time, Bodhi hurried down the stairs. "You're awake!" he exclaimed. Astra moved her gaze toward the boy as she rushed toward her. "Eat, eat! I prepared them for you," he encouraged her. "We woke up a while ago, but we didn't want to wake you too. You were sleeping so deeply, and I figured yesterday must have tired you out quite a lot. I managed to walk on tiptoe all the way to the pantry and take what I needed to make you something at least somewhat nourishing to eat. Jahaka and Moha went into town early this morning to take care of their tasks, and Father is upstairs in his room. He's waiting for you to wake up so we can go together and find out whether you have someone looking for you." After he said this, Astra's eyes filled with tears. She did not know exactly what had caused the reaction, but she knew that the new emotions she was feeling pressed down on her like boulders. "And what if I have no one waiting for me?" Bodhi fixed his gaze on her. He was carefully searching for his next words. "Everyone has someone waiting for them." Father told Jahaka that on the first day he stepped into our home. "Each of us has someone waiting." He told him that some luckier people are born in the place where their people are already waiting for them, while others have to stumble upon the ones who are waiting. And in that moment, the boulders turned into pebbles. Asra smiled briefly, but sincerely. Bodhi chuckled once more, pleased with the new reaction he had managed to draw from the girl. "Are you ready to go?" The father's voice was heard. Astra nodded.